I'm baking up some cookies for the holidays. I am bringing you 3 cookies with 1 recipe, and we're gonna add a few modifications for each. I'm Rebekah with Learning Together by Grace. Are y'all ready? Let's go. All right, so these are the ingredients. I have salt, flour, there's white sugar, I have brown sugar, vanilla, and there's baking powder. I have eggs and butter. Those are all of the ingredients that are the same, and the measurements and everything for all 3 cookies. Now the first cookie we are making is a white chocolate chip nut cookie, and I was going to just use pecans, but then my family was like, use pecans and walnuts, so we're doing that for the first cookie. The second cookie is going to be a cinnamon sugar cookie, or better known as a snickerdoodle. So we'll use cinnamon as the modification for that particular cookie. And then our last cookie is going to be a chocolate crinkle. And we're gonna use cocoa powder and white sugar as our modification. So let's go. All right, you guys, here we go. So it calls for 1 cup of sugar. I'm doing half of the sugar white and the other half brown sugar. So if you are on a diet, if you guys cannot have sugar, these may not be the cookies for you. I just have to be honest with you because they require a lot of sugar. Alrighty, so now that I have half cup of white sugar and brown sugar mixed in there, I'm going in with 1 stick of butter. All right, so I'm gonna start mixing that together so that it can cream. All right, can I just take a moment to revel in this beautiful egg? Look at that, it's almost like a greenish brown color. And you guys, I got the eggs from a lady who raises chicken, but look at these colors. This is like a light brown egg, this is a darker brown egg, and we have a white egg. But isn't that gorgeous? Farm fresh eggs. All right, enough of that. I thought I would just give you a little bit of beauty today. All right, so we're gonna go in with our egg, and we are going to mix that in as well. All right, that is done. Okay, so now that that's done, we are going to add in a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Look at these adorable little measuring spoons that I got from Walmart. We're gonna mix that up. I have to raise it up first. Now we're gonna mix it. Okay, now it's time for the dry ingredients. So we need 1.5 cups of flour. That's half of a cup. That's 1 cup. And this is 1.5 cups. Now we need 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Make sure it's baking powder and not baking soda. It's going to make a difference in the cookies. And then next, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And we're just going to blend all of that together until it's fully incorporated. Make sure you pause and scrape your bowl. This is a spatula paddle, so I just use that to scrape my bowl, or either you can just get a regular scraper, spatula, what have you, to scrape your bowl. And we'll just mix just a little bit longer, not too much longer. All right, we're done with that part. So now it's time to add in our nuts and our chocolate chips. So for me, I'm only going to add in probably about 1/4 cup of nuts. I don't want it to be too nutty. Again, I'm doing both walnuts and I'm doing pecans here. All right, and there's the pecans. And then for my chocolate chips, 1/2 cup of white chocolate chips. Okay, and then mixing that, just stirring that until it gets fully incorporated. Not too long. Alrighty, we're good. So we are done with our first dough, y'all. Okay, you guys, so now I'm just going to add this to some plastic wrap, and I'm going to make it into a log. and refrigerate it. So I would say refrigerate it at least an hour, but they work really well too if you refrigerate them overnight. So we're gonna make these into like cut cookies so that you can just cut them and shape them and get more even distribution. But I'm literally just going to put it in a log like this. Simple. I'm about to make some sourdough bread. So my oven is letting me know that it's heated up. Alright, so we have our log. Now this is going to make 24 cookies in total. Alright. You can even freeze this, I would say up to 3 months you can freeze this for. I would just wrap it in plastic wrap like this, and then I would put it in like a freezer, gallon freezer Ziploc bag. Alright. This makes it a little bit more round like that. Okay, into the refrigerator and then on to the second dough. Alrighty, we're doing the same process. So I have half a cup of white sugar. I have half a cup of packed brown sugar. I just like to mix my sugars together before I add my butter. And we're doing our stick of butter. And now we're just going to cream all of that together. And we're gonna be doing the cinnamon sugar cookies for this batch. Alrighty, now we're gonna add in our egg and cream that together. Okay, we're done with that. We're gonna add in the vanilla, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and mix that in. Alright, time for the flour. We're doing 1.5 cups. So that's half of a cup. Hold that down. Here's 1 cup and 1.5 cups. Okay, now we're going in with the baking powder. That's half of a teaspoon. And then that's 1 full teaspoon. And then we are going in with the cinnamon. We're doing 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. So that's, I'm doing a quarter cup because, or sorry, quarter teaspoon because that's what fits inside of my container. So that's 1 teaspoon, 1/4 and 1.5 teaspoons. And then we are going to do 1/4 teaspoon of salt as well. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then we will mix all of that together, and we're done with this batter until it's time to roll the dough out. All right, so this is what we are looking like, you guys. All right, so we're doing the same thing. We're going to add this dough to the plastic. Going to make it into a log. Oh, goodness. My kiddos are in there playing. Can you hear them screaming? Alrighty. Roll that up. I'll just do that to make it a better log. And then into the refrigerator it goes. All right, now it's time for the chocolate crinkle cookies. And so what I'm actually going to do is melt the butter and the cocoa together. I have come to find that the cocoa, when it's heated up just a little bit, that it makes the chocolate flavor come out a little bit more. So I'm doing 1 stick of butter and 1/3 cup of cocoa powder. And we're just going to melt that, and we'll allow it to cool before we start making our cookie dough. All right, so this is practically all the way melted. So I'm gonna remove it from the heat and just continuing to whisk it like this until it fully melts. All right, you guys, this has cooled down enough. I added it to a separate bowl so that it can cool down a little bit faster. And I'm adding this to my mixer bowl. All right, here's half a cup of white sugar. And here's half a cup of brown sugar. And we're going to allow this to mix together. It's going to look a little bit different because of the butter already being liquefied. All right, that's done. We're going to add in a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And allow it to mix just a few more seconds. All right, that's done. Now it's time for all of the dry ingredients. Oh, actually, no, the egg. Now it's time for the egg. I think I'm gonna use this lighter brown egg. Actually, I was supposed to do the egg before the vanilla. Don't mind me, y'all, but that's okay. It's going to work out just fine. So we're gonna let that mix in together. Alrighty, that is mixed well. Now it's time for our flour. All right, here's half of a cup. Here's 1 cup. All right, and here's 1.5 cups. Okay, time for our baking powder. That's half of a cup or teaspoon. And then this is 1 teaspoon. And then we are going to do 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So the exact same measurements and ingredients, just those few modifications or additions to our recipe. Now it's time to mix all of this together to make our final dough. All right, we are done here. And this is what our dough is looking like. Now it's time to roll this in. It's plastic. Alrighty, time to put this, well, I kind of flew everywhere. Time to put this dough in the plastic wrap. Because of the cocoa powder, this dough isn't as moist, I guess would I call it moist? As wet. This dough isn't as wet. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. But it's still perfectly fine. So we're putting it in our log. And then we are just going to wrap it. And roll like this. To make the log shape a little more even all around. Alrighty, this goes in the refrigerator along with the other two. Alright, so now I'm preparing a cookie sheet. I'm using parchment paper to line my cookie sheet. Here I'm just preparing some cinnamon sugar. I just use granulated sugar as well as cinnamon and mix that together. I didn't measure, so I don't have measurements for you. I just kind of went by look. And yeah, sometimes you just have to do that when you're cooking. So to make these into nice balls, I'm making sure that I cut the dough evenly and then I roll them around in my hands, between the palm of my hands. And after this, I just roll it around in the sugar to make sure I coat every bit of that ball. And then I'm adding it to my baking sheet. And then next up, I'm cutting up those white chocolate chip with nuts cookies, rolling them around in the palm of my hands and putting them on the baking sheet. I'm doing the same process with these chocolate crinkles and then just rolling them around in the powdered sugar to fully coat the cookies. Now, once I get all of them on the pan, I'm just going in and pressing them down with my fingertips. If you don't press them down, they will be a thicker cookie. So depending on what you like, you can press them down or either you can not press them down. But I cooked mine for 13 minutes and this is what it turned out to look like. You want to make sure the edges are brown. So I'm taste testing things for Mom. So
We have the chocolate one with chocolate crinkle one that has confectionery sugar on it. It tastes like a brownie.
I was gonna say it's kind of like a brownie, isn't it?
It's like a brownie.
We need some hot cocoa with this one. Oh, that's good.
So we have this one.
Let's try it. That's good too. These are all good cookies. I'm going to take another bite, but we have the
Nice one.
This one seems better.
Then we have the cinnamon cookies. Get that.
You can't go wrong with either of these three. These are delicious. They're soft and just chewy, but then there's just this light crisp on the outside. Yum. One recipe, 3 different cookies. You do just a little variation, addition really, to the dough.
I like how soft it is.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share so people know what we're doing over here. Hit that notification bell so that you know when I post another video. You guys, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the year is up. Right now I have, 44 more to go to get there. So let people know what we're doing, you guys. Yes, and have a wonderful holiday season. God bless you. Take care. Bye.
Touch this one so I can say it again. Like a brownie.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
How does it taste?
Ooh.